Ellis Cinema. Created by she, her, continued by he, him. How we doing out there? Good, great, grand, yan. Wonderful. Another fucking edition because the marathon continues, does it not? As you see on your screen, your dial, however, you are joining me today. I suppose I thank you. Children of the Corn, the OG, going way back. Actually, I almost exclusively stay in the way back. So funny little story. First time watching Children of the Corn. I have no excuse for you. It was one of those ones where I was like, of course I will. Like, you know, I'll get there. And that time never came until I was obligated to watch it. And, I mean, I liked it. You know, I think I wish I would have saw it when I was younger on a VHS so we could hide some of perhaps the imperfections that the splendid Arrow Video 2K restoration illustrated. But, you know, that is, there. I am not a prick. But, yeah, it just some of the demon, the thing in the corn effects. But yeah, I have no excuse for you, members of the audience, of why it took so long to see this. I think this is the last Stephen King adapted that would complete the set for me. I think this is the only one, and it's so funny because it's as far as like shitty little kids in a bumfuck nowhere town, satanic rituals. I liked it. And how could you not with, the talented Linda Hamilton? But, I mean, I think we can all agree, while Linda Hamilton was good, Isaac stole the show, And such a warm performance by what was his name? Peter Horton? Yeah, the guy who played Bert. I thought there was a subtlety to his performance that was really good considering the times. If you consider the times, this you can overact for this piece, but I thought he had a warm approach to it and downplaying some certain things. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but downplaying certain things that I was like, oh, I'm surprised he didn't hit a fucking 10 right here. He went for the 4, and it works way better. That's just a fucking side note. But Arrow Video release, a 4K release of Children of the Corn. Apologies to all the people that have probably... Why does this happen to horror aficionados the most? We have to buy the most re-releases of anyone, and we keep falling for it. That's the worst part. It's like, I bought that fucking Shout Factory Michael Myers box set or whatever. Of course, I owned previous versions to all the Halloween films, and then I buy that one, and fucking like 3 to 5 years later, now it's the 4K fucking box set of the Halloween. Come on, dude. I bet you I have bought Halloween, the OG Halloween, 5 or 6 times. That ain't right. So anyway, the people that just got the 2K restoration of Children of the Corn not too long ago had to fucking pony up for the 4K version. So that's fine. We got to keep physical media around. I'm just saying, horror fans, I think, get dicked the most on that stuff. And am I the only one that doesn't want to see all horror in 4K? This one's fine, whatever. But I don't know. There's just something about that shitty qual that makes it a little... I can't be the only one, but we keep on buying them. And a child shall lead them. From the mind of celebrated horror author Stephen King, the man behind such classic tales of The Shining, Carrie, and It, comes one of his most chilling offerings yet. Let me ponder that for a moment. Is it Is it one of his most chilling? Sure, certainly not. No. Now, I don't know if I would put this in my 5 for Stephen King adaptations. Yep. Nope. Like I think Pet Sematary is still has one of the scariest scenes ever captured on film, which of course is the sister Zelda. Just never walk up. Anyway, It is definitely scarier than this. All of them, actually, or scarier moments. Shining is pretty good. Anyway. Am I the only one that liked Dr. Sleep more than The Shining? We should probably just stop doing this show. I'm going to get hate mail. Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton stars a young couple who find themselves lost on the back roads of Nebraska, eventually winding up in the seemingly deserted town of Gatlin. I rather liked, even though I think some writers would say meaningless, you're just filling time, I kind of liked the trying to not go to Gatlin and how we get to Gatlin. I don't know. I just thought it was fun. But the town is far from empty. They get there, it's a ghost town, far from empty. And the couple soon discovers it is inhabited by a twisted cult of murderous children, thirsty for another blood sacrifice. Available for the first time in ultra-high definition, Arrow Video is proud to present a brand new 4K restoration of the film that launched one of the most enduring horror franchises of all time, Children of the Corn. They're an adult nightmare. Well, I have not seen... This is the first Children of the Corn I've ever seen. Not proud to admit that, but it's true. I thought it was fun. King wrote the original draft of the screenplay, which focused more on the characters of Bert and Vicky and depicted more history on the uprising of the children of Gatlin. This script was disregarded in favor of George Goldsmith's screenplay, which featured more violence and a more conventional narrative structure. Filming took place in Iowa, but also in California. Cult classics. What else do we got here? An American supernatural folk horror film based on Stephen King's 1977 short story of the same name. Children of the Corn was directed by Fritz Kirsch. Fritz Kirsch. A film cast that consists of Peter Horton, Linda Hamilton, John Franklin, Courtney Gaines, Robert Kiger, Anne-Marie McAvoy, Julie Madalena, and R.G. Armstrong. So, would it be fair to say that this film does not work without the fucking great performance by John Franklin, who played Isaac? I thought stole the show at a time where we are meant to be focused on the stars. Stole the show. He was so good. Very, very unnerving, even now, as I'm reminiscing on some of his deliveries. Good goddamn. I did not like it when he was on screen. It was like a Joffrey feeling that I was getting, even though obviously Joffrey is far more horrendous. I mean, at the end of the day, death is their game. But there was one point, like, I almost spit at my TV screen when Joffrey was on Game of Thrones. People with me? Anyway, Isaac is close. Isaac is close in terms of hateability. And how I just felt like my skin was crawling. Piece of garbage. Malachi, played by Courtney Gaines, the Burbs guy. He's just, this, again, at a time where we're using individuals. Let's not bang it. But I thought he was all right. There was some of the lines I was kind of like, oof. But for the most part, nailed it. This whole film does not work without the believability of the cast. Who else we got? We got Robbie Kiger as Job, Anne-Marie McAvoy as Sarah, Julie Madalena as Rachel, Jonas Marlowe as Joseph, John Philbin. I just saw an interview. Shout out to Heather Loves Horror. I just saw an interview with Heather and John Philbin. Pretty entertaining, minus the fact where Heather's internet was playing tricks on her. The audio was fine, but Heather would freeze, and John was clear as day. But those are the bummers about doing this whole fucking... You should hear the audio on some of my Zoom meetings. They are garbage, and I would argue that's the only thing that matters. I never wanted to do a video median until a fucking goddamn pandemic hit, and everybody's like, can't we just Zoom it? No, I don't want to fucking Zoom it, dude. Fuck. That's stupid as fuck. Film rights were originally optioned by Hal Roach Studios. Stephen King. I think this is where Stephen King started to initially hate Holly. At least how his films were treated. But Steven, you went and you did Maximum Overdrive, and I think Maximum Overdrive is one of the most overrated cult classics of all time. I think it's not a great movie at all, and not in a good way. And that was the first time you had your... Am I dissing Stephen King right now? I kind of am. I don't mean to be. You're a legend. I've read most of your books. You're a legend. One of the best. But filmmaking's a different ballgame. But of course now you know that. Now most of the time they're releasing stuff that you don't enjoy, unless you're being diplomatic, which I think sometimes you are. But that's okay. What's happening on this podcast? But I think this is where he got a bad taste in his mouth, because they were like, no, it's not marketable enough. And I go round and round on that. I'm so sick and tired of fucking shit needing to appeal to the masses. I know it was at a time where that's what happened. I get it, but fuck. God damn it. I want to see it as raw and brutal as it's supposed to be. Very creepy film from top to bottom. Raul Lomas or João Fernandez, who did the cinematography, pretty good. Unnerving music. The restoration was so clear. Just to be able to hear the devil chants of the children, or at least the chants within the score. That was, most of the time plays well. Some of the times I was just like, this is so much. This is what did the kid extra? This is so extra right now. Is that what the kids say? That's what I felt with some of the choir bits within the score. I was like, Jesus Christ, we are going for it right now. But that was at a time when we gotta just fucking let it all hang out. I just watched Legend the other day, and a forgotten classic, or maybe it's not forgotten. Who am I? I don't know. But we just went for it. We just went for it from like the 50s to like mid 90s. We just went for it. Calm down, everybody. I'm not saying anything that came after the 90s is shit. That's my favorite movie of all time. I believe came out in 2007. No Country for Old Men. Yeah. So anyway, what am I talking about? We let it all hang out, and I think we did on this one as well. Could have stepped up a little bit of the ultra violence, but I like the reason why I bring up the cinematography is there were sequences in this that were pictures, paintings to me. Pictures in a book, paintings. The way that they were framed. One that comes to mind, I think Linda Hamilton is looking down the stairs, and you don't see anybody's faces, and the ceiling, you see the stairwell, and the ceiling cuts off these would-be maniac children, brainwashed children. It's stuff like that. When the mechanic meets his end, it's not overly violent, but the last thing you see, I believe, is like a lug nut wrench, a little bit of blood, his hand. We used to do that more often these days, and I think nowadays cinematographers are so good, or the eye has become so good, that some of the best shit is hidden, and I hate that, because like that's how cinematographers roll. Well, I don't want you to know that I'm good at what I do. Do you have any idea how asinine that sounds? Yes, but it shouldn't take the focus off the film. I would argue it doesn't. I would argue that you're making it more special. Oh. I have not read Children of the Corn. Out of all the Stephen King books that I've read, Children of the Corn is not one of them. Eerie as shit, though. This initially was supposed to be back-to-back with Brotherhood of Satan, just another town, have some kids, and anyway. But, life comes at you fast. I think there was 2 or 3 interviews within there, and I wanted it to be a theme, and it just didn't fucking work out. Now, how many fucking sequels of this are there? I don't know. I should know, but I don't know. 5, 6? Maybe I should take a little dabble, because I like the premise enough to where it works. But I don't know. Horror franchises are hit or miss with me. We'll get back to that in a second. Brand new 4K restoration of the original camera negative by Arrow Films. 4K UHD Blu-ray presentation in Dolby Vision. Original uncompressed stereo audio and 5.1 options. I think if you were with me for the Legend podcast, I know, like, as a purist that I should like the original 2.0. I don't think I do. I think I prefer the 5.1 or 7.1 DTS master. I don't know why. Of course the remastering, it's a much fuller sound. It just engages me a slight bit more. This one, not to complain about, not so much the issue here, but like Legend, switching back and forth between the two. I'm not gonna say it's 2 different movies, but fuck, there's a heavy difference. We got audio commentary by horror journalist Justin Beam. And Children of the Corn historian John Sullivan. What a strange thing to be. Is the Children of the Corn historian. Pretty cool, I think. It depends on how you are at parties, I suppose. If that's what you just launch into all the time, well, I had to learn the hard way that nobody wants to talk about movies all the time. I figured that out. Like, when you go to a party, they don't want to hear about every single movie and your thoughts and the feels that you got. So I don't do that at parties. But Children of the Corn historian, interesting. And I listen about half the commentary, not bad. I listened to the other commentary more. No disrespect. There's only so much time in the fucking world. I watched the movie, but I listened to the second commentary, which was director Fritz Kirsch, producer Terrence Kirby, and actors John Franklin and Courtney Gaines. Harvesting Horror, The Making of Children of the Corn, a retrospective piece featuring interviews with director Fritz Kirsch, actors John Franklin and Courtney Gaines, which was long but cool. I was looking at that box that I got sent to me the other day. Probably 75 to 115 hours of content is in that box. Ooh, I could be impacting lives with that amount of time. It was the 80s. Also on this Arrow video, 4K restoration. It was the 80s. An interview with actress Linda Hamilton. The Return to Gatlin, brand new featurette revisiting the film's original Iowa shooting locations. Watched it. That one wasn't so bad, but there's been a couple of them that Arrow has done that I was like, this. I have no idea if you're telling the truth right now. You're out in the middle of a field, and you walked like 47 paces north and then 22 paces west, and now this is where you. I don't know. Calm down. But this one was fine. Stephen King on a Shoestring, an interview with producer Donald Borchers. Welcome to Gatlin, the sights and sounds of Children of the Corn, an interview with production designer Craig Stearns and composer Jonathan Elias. Pretty good set design, especially when Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton see the inside of, the only inside of the house that they see when they first get to the it's eerie as shit. Nice little touch, the fucking TV guides 3 years old, just the fucking whatever, that's script based, but just a house that looks ran through, no parents at all. And of course it's because they were walked out into the corn by Isaac and Malachi, or were they? Nobody knows. cut from the cornfield, an interview with the actor who played the Blue Man in the fabled excised sequence, Disciples of the Crow, a 1983 short film adaptation of Stephen King's story. I didn't get to that one. I feel like garbage. But you gotta fucking pick and choose your battles out here. It's getting hard out here. A lot of stuff. I don't know why I'm going to go on this tangent, but I'm going to. I wanted to do one for The Last Bond. I wanted to do one for Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. I thought that was, as a kung fu aficionado, I thought that one was badass. And there's just no time. One, people, fucking, there's enough people talking about those movies. They don't need me. But James Bond, who I just find okay as a series. I know, I'm sorry that I'm offending, maybe when I'm 20 years older, I'll be able to identify it with it more, but I hate saying that because, like, when I'm talking to people about rap music and they're just like, well, I can't get into anything they're saying because that's not, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. It's a song. It's art. Relax. And I understand that with James Bond, I kind of do the same thing, but they're just not, like, I've said this a million times on my podcast before. I can only do so many fucking car chases, and if the gunplay is not sick like John Wick or anything out of the East, well, it is what it is. Having said that, No Time to Die was fucking awesome. I thought. Gave me all the feels. All the feels. Shang-Chi, same thing. There was some welling. Going on. Now, the reason why I bring at least one of those movies up, in terms of the computer-generated images, I ask Arrow a question. Do we need to... Is it possible? I don't know. You're the scientist. I know nothing. Is it possible so that in an instance of Children of the Corn, where we finally see that there's something even more evil than the children, is there a way to not remaster some sorts of things? And of course, I would never ruin it for my audience, but anybody from Arrow listening to that, you know what I'm talking about. Is it possible to leave that part untouched and restore everything else, or is that too much work and this is not how life works? You're an idiot, Sean. I'm sure it's probably the idiot portion, but I just felt that the 4K restoration looked too good. It looked too good. This is not a Marvel film made these days where you can get away with it because they, ILM and whoever else is working on Marvel from a visual effects standpoint, this is a new ball game. So anyway, when I see the closing of Children of the Corn, I was like, ew. Oh, that is tough to watch. I think I was on I Know Movies and You Don't with that gentleman amongst gentlemen, Kyle Brule. I was watching RoboCop, and this one wasn't even. I don't think they have a 4K for that one yet, but this was a 2K restoration of it, and ED 204 or whatever the fuck the big one's name is. A couple of those shot, like the transfer from Arrow was a little too good. Like something that when I watched on VHS as a kid was sellable. I get you can sell it more. Some of the restoration, and I almost, it's almost exclusively for horror films. Like I tend not to notice in like, I don't know, the fucking 4K restoration of the Shawshank Redemption. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't, whatever. For something like this that has a lot of effects, or in how we close with this one, I'm glad they did what they did. Like they saved it until the end, and then we pulled some fucking Tremors tricks, and well, this was before Tremors, but pulled some underground tricks and good camera usage to sell a lot of things. And then there was just so I circle back to the beginning of this show. I probably deep down, I should have watched this when I was a younger lad on the VHS on a fucking small-ass TV by myself, and I think it would have hit a little harder. And it still hit hard. That's all I'm saying. Like, but, you know, you get to the point where I think if you're a film enthusiast, you get to the point where you've seen so much shit that, like, it's almost impossible not to fucking nitpick, you know? And I realize that makes me a piece of shit, and I agree with you. But, man, I think if the what was good to begin with, if the ending was in slightly shittier quality, I would have enjoyed it more. I know that perplexes some of the younger crowd, but that's how I feel about that, and that's all I have to say about that. When you see it, pick up this Arrow video release, 4K restoration of Children of the Corn, Stephen King's Children of the Corn. Pick it up and you DM me. Watch it and DM me. And tell me if it's possible, people at Arrow listening to this, if it's possible to just not leave the scene out, but leave the scene untouched. Is it possible to do that? Even, I'll tell you this, and I don't know if I believe this or not, but I'm going to go forward with it anyway. I don't even know if I would mind if you switched ratios mid-film. I don't even know if I would mind. If I look on the back of the box, now I'm just fucking talking crazy to fill 30 minutes, but if I look on the back of the box and it says 2K restoration and original, from the original cut of the film, whatever millimeter, right? And we all know that some parts would be best sold as it originally was, because if you agree with sometimes less is better, shittier quality is better, would that be something anyone was interested in? Like, you had 4K, great HDR transfer, and then we switched to 4:3 ratio, shitty VHS qual of particular scenes. Is that too much? Am I asking too much? And here's the thing: I don't know if I would. I don't know. I would have to see my idea on screen before I could make a call about it. But for this one, I would not have cared if we switched from 4K to fucking 4:3, 480 or less than for a couple of the final sequences. Sounds like blasphemous. It sounds like I'm a blasphemer. But I think that's how I feel about that. Some films, not all films. You know, I've mentioned this before. I don't need a 4K restoration of The Evil Dead. I don't. It looks better the way it came. Just like, anyway, it's another goddamn good release from Arrow Video. I'm just talking crazy. Arrow Video's release of Children of the Corn. Available now. Because Papa Bear only has so much time in a day. Alice Cinema. Children of the Corn. Arrow Video release. This show I kid you not, this show started, if you listen to some of the older episodes, I mean, I'm garbage, but like, it was much more educational than it has become. This has become a promotional shit show. Go fight cheerleader shit. Not that I mind that. I do mind it for free, though. I got a life.